OpenAI, ChatGPT, that has been the go-to for AI. They were the first to launch. They've grown to the biggest user base. And one of the biggest disappointments over the last few years has been Google. Now, I'd say a bigger disappointment's been Apple, because Apple has completely failed in creating anything AI related. As a matter of fact, Apple looks like they're going to be partnering with Google to actually come out with AI tools within Siri, but they're not able to create it themselves. But Google got a really slow start. Google didn't really have a name in the race of AI. And most people just said, you know what, I'm using ChatGPT. It's really the place to be. Everybody is there. I'm personally a huge user of ChatGPT, and I do spend most of my time on ChatGPT when I think about AI. And I would imagine most of you do the same. Now, I consider myself a power user. I use a lot of the different platforms. I bought a Grok subscription, a 1-year subscription for $300 back in February, because I'm a fan of Elon Musk and the innovations that he's created. And I thought, this is going to be something useful. And I haven't really used it for much. I'm not a huge fan of Grok. Again, I'm a super user of ChatGPT. I'm on the $200 a month plan. I think there's huge value in that for somebody who's a super user. I've said many, many times, most people don't need that plan. I've also said, if you're not paying for ChatGPT, pay it. There's a huge benefit to paying the $20 a month for ChatGPT. Okay. But what I really want to talk about today is the wild card. And let me check one thing really quickly here. Okay, good. All right. I want to talk about the wild card, which is Google and their Gemini product has really come out of nowhere. And Google, about a year ago, came out with a product called Notebook LM. And Notebook LM really put Google on the map when it comes to being a player in AI. And Google has continued to accelerate. Google started out with something called Baird. So if you ever heard that, Google was competing with ChatGPT with their Baird product, and they renamed it last year, I believe, to Gemini. And it has really become a powerhouse product. It's what I'm going to talk about today, is some reasons why you may want to use Gemini for certain things. Now, what I want you to understand is that this is going to become a field with AI of different tools to use for different things. And ChatGPT's kind of become the Swiss Army knife of the tools, and it does a great job. It's got a lot of value to it. It's very well built, and it serves a lot of functions really, really well. But the Swiss Army knife's not going to be the tool for everything that you're trying to do. And as you start using AI more and more, you want to start figuring out what is the right tool. And I want to encourage you as you're on this journey, that if I asked you how many times a day are you using AI, if you can't give me an answer because it isn't quantified in days, it's quantified in weeks or months, and you say, well, John, I don't use it daily. I use it, a couple times a week. You're using it wrong. Okay. You're using it wrong. It needs to be open and used all the time. It's kind of like if I asked you how many times a day are you sending or receiving text messages? It's kind of impossible to count anymore. Like there's no, oh, you know what? Yeah, probably, twice a day I log into my email and check my email. No, you don't. Like we're in there all the time. Same thing with our text messages. The same holds true for AI. You should be using AI consistently. You should be in there giving ideas, asking for revisions, having it make things look prettier. And there's some tools I'm going to show you today that I think are going to be an even bigger opportunity for you that Google has to offer. So I'm gonna dive in now. This is interactive, so if you have questions, feel free to post it into chats. If you want to ask the question, let me know, and I can and unmute yourself, and we can have a conversation about it. But I want to make this as valuable and interactive as we possibly can. So the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen, and I'm going to show you. This is Google Gemini. So welcome to Google Gemini. If you don't know anything about it, Google Gemini is not a whole lot different than ChatGPT. So the layout is the same concept. Okay, so on the left side, you can start a new chat. They've got some what they call gems. So gems are kind of like in ChatGPT, where you have a custom GPT. These are conversations you can have with specific rules. So you can say, hey, here's some that are pre-made by Google. And so they've got one that's a storybook that can create a customized picture book for either children or adults, and you can give it a topic and it'll create it for you. A brainstormer, a chess champion, a career guide, a coding partner, a learning coach, a productivity planner, or a writing editor, or you can create your own. And so you basically give it instructions and you say, hey, I want you to do this task for me over and over again. So a gem is no different than a custom GPT if you've used them in ChatGPT. If you haven't, you should be using them because they really help you put guardrails around repetitive tasks, like writing a social media post. You don't want to go back into your AI of choice. And every single time that you go in, say, hey, so I'm writing a social media post and so this one's going to be for Facebook. Let's brainstorm on what I want to say. Like you should have a brand voice that you use when you're talking on Facebook. Who is your typical audience member? What are you talking to them about? What is your call to action on Facebook? You should have a different one, gem or custom GPT, for marketing that you do via other platforms, via LinkedIn or via Instagram. And you should have different call to actions based upon who your audience is in those platforms. So you don't want to just count on the AI knowing enough about you. It's getting better and better at knowing a lot about you, but it doesn't know which pieces to apply. So using something like a gem or a custom GPT in ChatGPT can help to refine specifically to say, these are the rules. This is the instructions that I want you to use only when you are talking about this. So these instructions are, hey, you are, actually, I can't even see, you can't see this very well, but it says you're a horticulturist with a background in nature, et cetera, et cetera. So basically helping with plants. So this example is one that you can use to help you kind of think through it. And then you've got a knowledge base. You've got things that you can, so let's go here, your instructions. Those are your main objections, what style of response you want. And then the knowledge base, you can put up to 10 files in there. Maybe you put a file in that is a deep research you did about your favorite YouTube channels that you follow and everything that makes those great channels. And you want it to know that research because this gem happens to be about you creating your own YouTube channel. And you want to give it the criteria. You want to give it the information about what you want it to emulate. So that's a great example of the knowledge that you can put into a gem in Google Gemini. It's the same concept using a custom GPT in ChatGPT. Okay, so the concept is the same. It simply is giving you specific rules around how to use it and what you want it to do. So that is one of the cool things that a lot of people don't use is your custom instructions. Again, in Gemini, it's called a gem. In ChatGPT, it's called a custom GPT. So that's really, really cool. That's not something special about Gemini, but it is something that I think you should know about as you're using AI more and more every single day in your business. What I want to talk to you about today is I want to talk to you about a few things. The first one I want to talk about is image generation. So Google Gemini came out with what is currently the best image generation software out there. And they call it Nano Banana. I know it's a crazy name, but they call it Nano Banana. And so if you have, and I haven't looked into Google's subscription models well enough. I know they have a free plan. I know I'm on the $20 a month plan. And I know they have a $300 a month plan that I'm not paying for. Okay. But I'll give you a reason why in a minute that I may decide down the road to do so. Okay. So I'm on the $20 a month plan. So far, I have not run into a limit on the number of images it can create. And so I could say, as a mortgage lender, I want to create an image to use on my YouTube channel as a banner to reflect my business. I'm being super vague, which is not good, okay? But I'm going to say create an image. Now, you might do this in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT does a decent job at images. But so it's kind of saying, hey, by the way, hold on a second, John, you haven't given me enough details. Okay, so time out, John. You haven't told me enough. And so what kind of overall feel? I want a trustworthy. I want houses and money and people. I want you to pick the colors. I would never do this on purpose, but I'm just trying to get through this. My slogan, will not be on the banner. Okay, cool. Let's see what it does. So what you're going to find is the photorealism of what it creates is better than anything I've seen coming out of ChatGPT. Okay. Well, let's see, because normally it's normally creating an image for me and it's not. So here I am failing on live TV. Let's do this. Create the image. Oh, cool. So now it's generating the image. So for some reason it kind of had a hiccup. Now I just burped the baby and the hiccup came out and now it's generating an image. So cool. It gave me an image. So now the coolest thing about this is what ChatGPT has started to get good at, but it isn't that great. And that is words and reproducing things to make changes. So let's do this. Swap the location of the images so that the family people are in the top third and the houses are in the bottom third and the house with a check mark is in the middle. Okay. Generally speaking, the more specific you are, and sometimes it gets confused if you give it too many things. But what I really did is just I said rearrange them, and so it should, and it's been very very good every time that I've tried. Okay, so this time it did a good job. What you never see in ChatGPT is consistency. Okay, so what you got here again, guys, I'm doing this on the fly, is I have the exact image that it consistently reproduced except it goofed up. It duplicated one of them. Okay, no big deal because it's creating really quick. Nope, you accidentally duplicated the same image in the top and middle segment. Let's make the middle segment have no image for now. What Nano Banana likes is small incremental changes. And so if you give it too many things to do at once, it's going to mess it up like it just did. So what it should do is it should just remove the middle. Now, it removed the wrong one. So sometimes when you start going down the wrong road, what you will see and what you're seeing already is it is super consistent. You go into ChatGPT and you said, hey, take this and edit it to change and rearrange something. It won't keep the same image. So I'm going to say now move the image. Okay, I'm actually going to start over. So I'm going to go back here. This is something that I've learned is if it's not working for me, then I'm going to copy this image and I'm going to start a new chat. And I'm going to, hold on. Let's go back here. I'm going to download the image. Okay, so come on, John. Save image. There we go. So I am saving the image. It's right there. Now I'm going to start a new chat because if it gets confused, start over. Okay. and I'm going to add a file. So I'm going to upload that file that I just downloaded. And I'm going to say remove the image in the middle third. My wording might not be good here. Rearrange. Okay, you will notice there are 3 horizontal segments of this image. Swap the middle segment with the bottom. That should be pretty specific. By the way, I want to point out something really quick. When you're creating these, you're going to get a little diamond in the bottom right corner. This is basically the watermark that Google's putting on there saying it created it. Okay. All right. Well, I'm failing. It's not doing what I want it to do. But okay, so let me show you something else I did. So this one, I don't know why it's not happy with me today. And here's the truth. AI continues to improve and get better. And this is a huge improvement over what we had before. Okay, I want to show you a different example. So I created this earlier today, and I said, I want you to create a YouTube thumbnail about the topic of using Google Gemini for images and videos. The audience is realtors. Guys, I was thinking about you. Okay, let's start with an image of a home with a realtor in front of the home standing next to a for sale sign. This should be a suburban home with a white picket fence, and the camera angle should be coming in from a camera set in the middle of the street in front of the house. That's what I told it. It came up with this. Decent picture. I didn't ask for all the rest of this stuff. And so I said, hey, remove all the wording and make the image of the house and the realtor the full size of the picture. It did a beautiful job. It did exactly what I asked it to do. And it took the same image that it created here, but it got rid of all the extra stuff and it made it right there. And I said, great, but I kind of want to edit that a little bit. So I want you to see how I did this incrementally. I literally did this morning. And I said, now zoom out and put an AI robot holding a video camera. The robot is facing the realtor as if it's taking a video of her. Our camera angle should be done above and behind the videographer. The robot should look like a humanoid robot like Elon Musk is building. So I'm giving it really specific things that I want it to change. And I said, okay, no problem. Here's an updated image of an AI robot holding a video camera positioned as if filming the realtor with our camera angle above and behind the robot. And that's exactly what it did. That's exactly what it did, is created exactly what I asked for. Okay. Now, I didn't tell it to change this. I probably could have told it to change the image, change the wording on the sign, and you could say, hey, I want that to be branded like my business, and you could upload your logo or your sign writer, and you can have it put that in there for you. Okay. Then I said, perfect. Is this the right aspect ratio for YouTube? Yep, it is. Cool. Now, use the same 2 characters. You will never, ever get this on ChatGPT. If you are trying to create images, you'll never have it be able to take the same image, the same characters, and relocate them. Now, maybe in the future, I won't say never ever, but you can't currently. Okay. So I said use the same 2 characters and have them filming inside the home. Have it in the living room with a couch behind them. And the rear windows behind the couch looking into the backyard that has a swimming pool and a waterfall. Can you guys picture this? Can you visualize what I'm describing here? Guess what it did? Exactly what I wanted. Exactly what I described. It took the same realtor with the same humanoid robot with a camera, with a couch in the living room, with windows behind it, with a pool and with a waterfall, and then it added landscaping that I didn't even ask for. Done. It literally took seconds to do this. Okay, so I'm going to say redo this image and hold on. Now create a third scene that is in a large entry hall with a baby grand piano behind the realtor and the rest of the house back behind the piano. Okay, the more visual I can get, the more specific. This is not really a great visual, but let's see what it does. I want to show you how quickly it's creating this. Okay, so each of these iterations, it's using the same, and I actually did not say use the same realtor, but it actually realized, here's a third scene with the realtor and the robot. Ta-da. Okay, now, I think she's a little bit close to the piano. The piano, I might say, hey, move the piano. Make the piano white and further behind the realtor. Come on, John, I gotta be able to type while I'm live. All right, so I can rearrange things. Can you guys picture this? You can literally take a photograph of a room. You got virtual staging. We all know what virtual staging is, but you can do virtual staging yourself right now. You can literally take a photograph of a room and then take a photograph of a sofa and say, put this in this room for me. Okay. And it literally made it a white baby grand piano positioned further back behind the realtor. That quick, that simple, and that consistent. Okay. Now, if this blows your mind, you might want to disconnect now because what I'm about to show you is really going to blow your mind. Okay. It's a picture of me full screen. No, I'm kidding. I'm resharing and showing you more of what this can do. But this time I'm doing it with audio. You're like, John, why do you want audio? Guess what? It'll do videos for you. Okay. And when I started playing with this, my mind was blown on what this could do. So what I did now is I went here. I took this first picture and I said, use this image and make me a video. I want that to start with a picture of the earth and then quickly zooms into this scene where a realtor is filming this scene. I want the narrator to say in a deep male voice, what would it cost you to film an 8-second high quality video like this? And it thought about it, and it took about 3 minutes to create it. And here it is. Okay.
What would it cost you to film an 8-second high quality video like this? What would it cost you to film an 8-second high quality video like this?
Tell me you're not amazed. I was amazed at what it did. It literally took the exact picture that it created, a super good picture that it created for me, and it created a video around it. Now, the video, this is where I may end up spending $300 a month because right now I'm limited to 3 videos a day. And if you're on the free plan, I think you get like 1 a week. Okay. So that's the problem. This is super expensive computing power for the computer to do this. But what would you pay a videographer to create something like this, or a graphic designer or graphic artist to create something like this? Way more than $300 a month. Okay. And you say, well, 8 seconds isn't very much. Yeah, that's called editing software. You got an 8-second scene here, and then you use the same characters on an 8-second scene over here, and then you use the same characters on an 8-second scene over here. You can create a 30 or 60-second video without spending more than $300 a month. That's amazing. Like, to me, if you've got the ability to visualize it and you don't have a huge budget, $300 a month. Now, I looked up and I said, how many videos do I get at different tiers? And it told me that on the $300 plan, there is not specifically a limit. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean there is no limit. It didn't say it's unlimited. Okay. It's like those cell phone commercials from back in the day where they said unlimited because it's limited. They just didn't say unlimited. It's unlimited. Maybe I'm dating myself in the commercial you guys don't know, but it is way more than just the 3 per day. Now, I learned that because I said, hey, start over. This time have it start with the original image or scene outside the home, and then transition to using the same two characters inside the home using the new image attached. And that's the new image that I created with the waterfall in the backyard. The announcer, same deep male voice, should say, what would it cost for you to film an 8-second high quality video like this while on the outside scene? And then after transitioning to the inside of the home, the scene I want you to have, to the inside the home scene, should have put a comma, I want you to have the announcer say, with a few keystrokes, you too can make magic like this. And it says, I'm creating the video. Got it. Okay, it says I'm starting with the outside scene, but it misunderstood the outside scene. It's using the outside scene behind here. Okay, and I went to create another one, except it said I can only make one more today. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I forgot. I can only get 3, so I'm not going to give you guys more examples. But the instructions mattered. So when I said starting with the outside scene, I meant starting with this scene. But it thought I meant starting with this scene back here. So this is what it created. Still pretty amazed at what it created. Okay.
With a few keystrokes, you too can make magic like this. With a few keystrokes, you too can make magic like this.
You guys see that? Like literally, it's got the person talking. She is moving her hands. She is, it's lip syncing it. It's adding video to audio together from a picture I took. I gave it bad instructions. By the way, that is the key to using AI. It is the key to good delegation as a leader, which is most of the time when the person you ask to do a job does not do what you expect, it's your fault for giving bad instructions. Okay. I gave bad instructions to the system because I said start with the outside scene. Well, I didn't explain which scene I was talking about. I should have been more explicit on what I was trying to do. But again, look at this. Look at what this created. So let's start over here really quickly.
With a few keystrokes, you too can make magic like this.
To me, that's amazing. To me, being able to use something like this, if you're trying to create something to differentiate yourself, if you're trying to put yourself out there on social media, the tools that are there right now to create for you are a game changer. Okay, so I want to pause for a quick second and see if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to show you kind of one more thing on Google Gemini, and then I'll let you guys go early. I'll dismiss the class early if there's no other thoughts. So it looks like we have no questions right now on the Zoom notes. If you're watching recorded, post comments in chat and I'll get back to those later. So it looks like I have no comments there. All right. So the other thing that Google Gemini does really well is what's called audio overviews. Okay. Now I shared this once before when I had talked about Notebook LM. Okay. But they've now, and if you don't know what Notebook LM is, watch one of my videos from the past that are on my YouTube channel for my AI training. And if you don't have that link, then reach out to me and I'll get you the link to that YouTube channel. But what Notebook LM can do, let's see here. Let's go right here. All right. So if I go here and I take this chat that I've got right here, and it created, and I actually was doing this for a business group that I was running, and we were talking about the idea of optimizing pricing and profitability as a business owner. So that was just a conversation I was having with Google Gemini. Okay. And so it came up with all of these ideas of how to maximize pricing. And I've got this really long thing. And I can go right. Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I used the wrong version. Well, I'll show you what audio overviews are in Notebook LM. Okay. You can do the same thing in Google Gemini, and I don't want to. So what happens in Notebook LM is they're both created by Google. So the concept of what Notebook LM does is the same thing. And so here is an audio overview. Okay, so what this is it took whatever it was that I had created and it put it into, John asked as a replay. Yes, this will go up on my YouTube channel this afternoon. So I'll make sure you have the link. All right. So what Google does is it creates a conversation between people. It creates a conversation here called the audio overview. And you can do the same thing in Gemini. And it's been a while. I played with it a few times. I just don't want to waste your time trying to find it. But here's what it does. So I'm going to play this really quick.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something that, well, it really promises to change how we work, how we learn. Microsoft 365 Copilot.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Our goal here is pretty simple, really. We want to give you, the learner, a clear, sharp take.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Come on, computer, catch up with me. Maybe it doesn't want me, maybe it's buffering. Anyway, my point, come on, computer.
All do constantly writing, dealing with documents, Word.
Perfect. So Microsoft Word, how does Copilot fit in there?
Well, think of it as an AI assistant right inside Word. It can help you basically at every step.
All right, I'm not going to dig too deep into that. What it did is it took whatever content that I had created, whether I'm creating it in Google Gemini, whether I'm creating it in Notebook LM, and it's taking that content and turning it into a podcast interview between that man and that woman. And when you create these audio overviews, you can tell it what you want. Like right now, I just click the button to generate an audio overview, and it's going to generate it based on what I have here. But I could have been more specific. So Notebook LM gives you the ability to dive a lot deeper. Now I got to put on my old people glasses here to see this better. And so I can have a deep dive conversation. I can ask it to create a brief conversation about the information I've got in here. I can ask an expert to critique what I have and give me constructive feedback, or I can make it a debate between the two hosts. So I have a lot of flexible ways to use this. I can make it short, medium, or long, and I can even choose my language. And there's a lot of languages to choose from. So you can create content, and then you can literally tell the AI what the host should focus on. So if I put in here a document that is the CC&Rs for our buyer that's buying a property, I can have it create a debate about those CC&Rs and the pros and cons of the different things that are in there. And I can make it, try to focus on whatever the certain things are. Okay. If I were, I know years ago I was on the school site council for my kids' elementary school, and we get thick packets of stuff we had to digest and read through that we were going to be voting on. This is exactly what I'd use that for. I'd put the packet in here. I would have it create an audio overview, and then while I'm exercising or driving, I can listen to all of the information, and then it gives me something to refer back to as I'm reading through it later. I know for me and for a lot of people, we digest information sometimes better when we know what we're looking for. And so having a preview, having an overview of what it is. Okay, maybe you've got something you're trying to learn. Maybe you've got an instruction book that you're trying to understand how to use something. Put that instruction book in here and have it create a podcast for you as an overview of what it is you're trying to learn. These audio overviews are continuing to blow my mind on the things that they can do, and you're getting more and more ability to customize them. So Google started this all in Notebook LM. And if you don't know Notebook LM, go back and find my video on it. I go a lot deeper into it during that video. Notebook LM is amazing. I'll probably do another video on it in the future because they continue to add features and add functionality within Notebook LM that you can use to benefit you as you're digesting new information. Okay, so Notebook LM is amazing, but within Google Gemini, you have the ability, I don't know why I'm not seeing it right here on this one, but you have the ability to create audio overviews of your content. I thought it was in here. This is just listening to the whole thing, so that's not what it is. But there is the option to create an audio overview, and I don't know where it's buried. That is part of the problem with AI, is that if you switch tools and you're not used to using that tool, sometimes you'll know of a feature and you won't be able to figure out how to find it. And that's where I'll go back to what I said at the beginning, which is you need to be at the point that you are using AI so many times a day you can't count. You should not be able to say, yeah, I was in there like twice today. It should be no different than your text message app. It should be no different than your email app. It should be your companion on anything that you are doing to enhance what you're doing, to help you keep track of the things that you're doing. And as you start to use it more and more, I want to start introducing you to different tools, because OpenAI's ChatGPT is not the end all be all of AI. It's not the end all be all of what you're going to use in the future. It happens to be one of the most popular. They're really, really good, but Google is coming up behind very, very quickly. Anthropic is another one. There's a lot of ones out there. I don't want you to get too overwhelmed with what should I use each one for. As they continue to stand out in particular things, you'll hear me do things like what I'm doing today, of giving you an overview of where Google is amazing. And I think that if you like what I'm showing you today, I think it's worth spending the $20 a month to be able to have these features to give you more usage than what you're going to be getting if you don't pay Google. Okay, you also get some other benefits. Google, for your $20 a month, you get other stuff if you're using Gmail and Google Drive and that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate you guys joining me today. I've got extra time, so if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. Otherwise, it looks like I'm looking at chat right now. Does not look like I have any questions in chat. So I will just do my closing remarks real quick. And then if there are questions, they'll pop up while I'm talking. But I want to make this really, really clear. I am not a professional AI trainer. I do not charge for my AI services. I am a professional mortgage banker. I am in business to help realtors and business people in any way that I possibly can. And in return, I hope that you trust me and feel you want to give back to me in the way of referring clients to me. So I believe my team and I do an amazing job in taking great care of people as they are looking to purchase and refinance homes. And that is what I'm here to make money doing. All right, a couple of questions. Harold said, thanks for the meeting. You're welcome, Harold. Penny said, fabulous information. You're very welcome. And Kathy says, $20 to Gmail or Google. It's Google Pro. So you may just want to Google it on upgrading your Google Gemini. It was pretty straightforward on the plan. So it's called Google Pro, but I don't want to tell you if there's a different version that also is only for Gmail. So Kathy, I'm not a Google Gmail user. My company uses Outlook, so we're a Microsoft shop, and so I use Google only for personal stuff, and I don't use my Gmail at all. So I'm the wrong person to ask about Gmail account steps and whether it's the same thing, but I do know that being on the Pro account gives me lots of extra benefits in Google that I don't use most of them. Hopefully that answers your question. Yep, Google Pro. Go ahead, John, you're up.
Uh, let me turn this down because I'm on two calls. It's just, as you guys book each other together, and it's all good information. It's all AI. But the question I have, I don't know if my friend Sandy's on the call right now, but she read something on, I think it was on Inman this morning about the fact that there is a company now, and they're going to advertise. They're trying to get rid of the mortgage broker like you, where
Good.
it comes on, it actually, they can qualify and go straight to the underwriter without the middleman. I mean, is AI going? I mean, I know AI is going to take some people are going to have to make shifts, but have you heard of this yet?
Yes, I have. And it is exactly the same as Zillow removing the need to have a real estate agent. Because 20 years ago, the realtor was the gatekeeper for listings. You couldn't even know what was out there unless you had a real estate agent and you had the MLS book. And everybody's afraid, oh my gosh, Zillow's here, and you can search it online and the internet's going to kill all of us because that's our value. That isn't your value. Okay. My value is not packaging up a file and submitting it to underwriting. Now, for some people, that's all they need. That's the same thing as somebody who's a for sale by owner or somebody who says, hey, I can buy a home without having a real estate agent, or I can go with a flat fee realtor because all I really need somebody to do is to put my house on the MLS. That's no different. There is an avenue for that, and AI for sure is making that portion easier. But here's who that's going to replace, or who's going to own it, which is companies like Rocket Mortgage. So Rocket Mortgage, I don't know, 10 years ago, came up with the slogan, push button, get mortgage. Okay. That doesn't exist. That's never existed. But what they're basically saying is, hey, you can log into our computer and it'll automatically get into Fannie Mae's system and you'll get your approval. Okay. You can automate me out of the process before it gets to underwriting. But the truth is, I have very little to do with the process before it gets to underwriting. My job, my highest and best use is advice. Which program should you use? How do you structure your offer? How do we make the listing agent confident that I'm going to deliver on time and that I'm going to be able to close? And Rocket Mortgage has spent millions of dollars advertising push button get mortgage. And I'm not going to ask any of you to respond on what you think of Rocket Mortgage as a perception in the marketplace, but just use that as your example. Okay, you can talk
Gotcha.
about how easy it is, but easy doesn't translate to replacing the value of human intervention. John, does that answer your question?
No, absolutely. Because I feel the same way. I mean, AI is not going to replace me. It may give me an advantage over their agents. My real competition is the AI savvy consumer,
Mhm.
because I will have to be on top of things to be able to deal with him.
And some of those consumers won't need your services.
Right.
As some of those consumers become more comfortable with AI and figuring out the search and asking AI for advice, and there'll probably be some program that'll charge you $100 to be your realtor advice machine on negotiating your contract. And I'm sure it exists. If it doesn't, it's coming. Okay. And so for $100, I can go sign up and I can ask it all the advice on how I should structure my offer. And that's way better than me paying a buyer's agent. And now I can get a better deal. That's going to come. And that AI savvy buyer may skip you to use them, but that's not the average consumer. Okay.
Exactly.
And that's the key. But having these tools is going to help all of us to elevate our game and get better. There's no right or wrong way. I was listening to a podcast this morning about realtors and marketing strategies. And, there's some realtors who are doing an amazing job buying leads with realtor.com. And then there's other realtors doing an amazing job that are all referral based. And they're just two different business models. Neither one of them is wrong. No different than Charles Schwab being different than I don't even know where Charles Schwab fits in. E-Trade being the low price stock trader versus a Merrill Lynch, right? They have a different place in the market. And that's really, to me, what we're talking about. And there are definitely more low barrier to entry, cheaper options becoming available that are going to replace some of the people in my industry and yours who don't provide a greater value than, push button and get mortgage. Well, great. I can push a different button over here and get a mortgage cheaper because there's no human involved. And so I'll push that button instead of your button. I have no buttons to push. The only one that pushes my buttons is my wife. Okay.
No, hey, and thank you very much for what you do. I really do appreciate the train. I picked up a lot of good stuff from you, so thank you.
Beautiful. You are very welcome. Do I have any other questions before I bail out and give you guys a little bit extra time? And John, you can get back to the other conference call that you're trying to multitask. All right. I think we're good, gang. Thank you so much. Again, tip your waiter or waitress on the way out and make sure to send me a lead of a buyer. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.